Like I mentioned, we do this every month, and I'm excited for this one. We had to do it a little bit early because I was so excited because we'll actually be catching up with one of my former classmates that I went to school with, went to a couple of classes with. She is also a 2016 graduate. I was just remembering that for our graduation ceremony, I was the MC, and of course, she was our class speaker. So I'm excited to catch up with her tonight, see how she's doing and what she's up to. And I didn't even say her name yet. Hello. Tonight we have Mahealani Kahala joining us. Give me 1 second to add her to this live stream. A reminder that if you have any questions for Mahea, you want to shout her out, feel free to do that. Feature on the bottom as well. But let's try to get Mahea in here with us. Hey!
Oh,
Whoa, your camera is like super clear.
oh, it might be this little light thing that I have on my
Ooh,
desk.
it's the ring light. I know you'd think I would upgrade a little bit, but I'm like, oh. And I like your headphones.
Thank you. Brand spanking new.
Just
I
for
just got it in,
this.
yeah,
Kidding.
just for this.
Just for this. We're up in the tech around here, Charla. I mean, I
Hi,
did a quick,
Charlotte.
oh, yeah, shout out to Charla. And thanks everyone for signing in with us tonight. While we more people will come in and out. I'm really glad that we get to talk today and catch up. It's good to see your face. I literally have
Yes.
not seen your face for like years, I'm
Yeah,
realizing.
it's been a couple years.
But it's
But it's
good
good
to
to see
see
you.
you.
Love the
Yeah.
bangs.
I know, it's new. No. I'm debating if I like them or not. Charlotte can pull off the bangs, but I'm still learning. I'm learning.
No,
I
that's good.
I mean, oh,
You're
thank
working.
you. Thanks. Charlotte can drop her bangs tips in the bottom. Wow, this chat is diverging very quickly. No, I mean, I already gave a preface. This is our chance to catch up with you, and I'm so excited to catch up with you. You may have seen these before too, so you might already know my line of questioning. I always start off asking, not shade, Charlotte. It's true. It's true. You rock the bangs well. Um, like I mentioned, I start this chat off the same every time because I'm truly interested. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
That's a fun question because that changed throughout the years.
Hmm.
Like I think I honestly wanted to be a trauma surgeon. And then that quickly changed when I found out I wasn't good at math and science. Um, but actually, in seventh grade, we had a chance to work with Olelo. I don't know if you know of Olelo, right? Yeah, we got to work with Olelo, and that's where like my love for filmmaking began. And it was then that I was like, let's be a film director. And that dream kind of came and went through the years, but and now it actually has transitioned into wanting to be a producer more than a director. So yeah, it's a little full circle to be where I am today and to know that I literally did have that in my on my list of dreams of what I wanted to do. But yeah, it's varied through the years. Every
I
now
mean,
and then I'm still questioning it.
I mean, that's to say it'll change, and especially for our students watching you, it's okay if you don't know like what you want to do. I always just ask that question because I like to know how it's come full circle, especially for you. And
Yeah.
we'll get into a little bit more of your career experience, towards the last half. But I really want to take it to you in college. Why
Yeah.
did you join the ACM program? Was it because you knew you wanted to be a director and you said, hey, West Oahu's got the program?
To be completely honest, no.
Tell us.
When I started, I switched my major. Like in high school, one of my teachers had told us that by the time you graduate college, you will change your major at least 7 times. And I think by the time I met Charla, I was on my third change. And the reason why I went into ACM was because of Charla, and it was her just her the I did an online class with her. It was Photoshop. I was terrible at Photoshop, to the point where it was completely online. So she came to the library and met me and did like office hours with me in the library to teach me how to use Photoshop
Wow.
because I was so bad at it.
Or she's just so above and beyond.
She absolutely, no, you're right, you're right. She's absolutely above and beyond like that. But it was that personable encounter that I had with Charlotte that um, when she said, "Hey, we're starting a new program," because when I joined, it was still fairly new, and like my concentration, I think yours is too, right? It's in humanities.
Hmm.
Yeah, or degrees in humanities with a concentration in creative media. So we were the babies. We were the first ones. Like Melissa Lockman, she was the first
First
one,
one.
and then we came up right after her. So yeah, it was a brand new program, and I liked what I was learning. I was only taking Photoshop for the art credit. We needed that for something, and I was like, I'll take it, and then it took me all the way through. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into ACM.
I mean, shout out to Charla. We always do this in our
Always.
segment.
Our little Asian mom.
Yeah. We always shout her out for, of course, the opportunities that she's gave us through this program and really like empowered us to do these kinds of things. And I mean, the fact that she was willing to help you like one on one
Yeah,
and get you through, I mean, that's just a testament to her. So shout out to Charla.
yeah, no, for
I
real.
I know that we were in a couple of classes together, so that's why I'm like, it's really going, a trip down memory lane, honestly. Can you tell
Yeah.
us about your favorite class that you remember, or maybe a favorite assignment that you had?
Oh, that's a girl. How long ago was
I
this?
know, it'll be 10 years in 2 years, so 8 years. I know how
Stop
to math. No kidding.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Favorite. Uh, okay. One project that comes off the top of my head. I think actually Ashley Guzman was in this class with me, but
Oh,
it was with Marisha Palma Elmore, who I actually have to work with a lot these days in my current position. But she has a law background and a background in law and entertainment. So the class that we did with her was it was kind of like an intro business class slash learning the laws and all of that behind contracts and that kind of stuff. But she had us break into groups and do a business plan, and it was to this day I still kind of reflect back on that because like one of the city councilmen, Augie Tolba, he is actually doing kind of what my business plan was, and
oh,
it was creating a space, creating a basically buying land, creating a space for a studio to come in and like to build an actual studio, Hawaii Film Studio, because we have one. We have one, and it's Diamond Head Film Studios. Obviously out at Diamond Head. But the thing is about that place is that it can only house one production at one time, and it's so small. And if we want to bring in more film to Hawaii, we need more spaces to hold these film productions. So my business plan kind of outlined that. But the only difference, which I don't know if Augie's doing this, but yes, no, it wasn't my senior capstone.
I think
Um,
she wants you to get to that, and we'll get to it.
that wasn't my favorite thing though.
I was going to ask what's the most challenging. Maybe that's when it'll come up. No I'm kidding.
Yeah, probably. But basically, just to shorten that up, that was it. It was basically creating the space for a new studio to come in that can house multiple productions at one time, but also create a pathway between West Oahu ACM and the film industry. So my business plan actually thought of the space. Kind of like surrounding the West Oahu campus, and with all that empty land owned by I'm like, hey, that's let's if we build a studio there, we can house five productions at one time. There's a clear pathway for students to be production assistants and learn the industry and learn the different departments. And that was my favorite one because it really it just really got me into thinking into what the industry is like in Hawaii present day and how it can be better.
I mean, talk about forward thinking, because that is, and Charlotte can attest to this, that's something that's happening right now,
Yeah.
and unfolding, and hopefully will continue for all of our students, like you said, to build that pathway for them.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about what are your most challenging? And maybe this will be when it doesn't have to be most challenging. No shade, Charlotte. I'm just asking. Why don't you share a little bit about your senior capstone?
Um, okay, wait.
Charlotte, what
This
are
is
you
this is
asking for? No kidding.
this is actually bad. Charlotte, what was my senior capstone? Was that
Wait,
was that the podcast thing that I did? I
yeah,
think that was my senior
yeah, I
capstone.
remember. I remember that,
Was
but maybe she means to also talk about, okay, well, let's talk about your senior capstone just in case.
okay.
Yes, there it is.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so my senior capstone. My we had to obviously come up with a question that we wanted to answer, and the question that I answered or needed to answer was, what is a Hawaiian woman in the modern world? And at that time, it was like I feel like I was at a place where I was just kind of questioning my identity and questioning like what does a Hawaiian woman with Hawaiian values and like loves our culture, loves our language, loves. I don't know much of it, but I'm still learning to this day. But what does that look like in the modern world, in the modern film industry? And because there's so much contention between the values that we hold as Hawaiians, where we love the land, love the people, all everything is aloha and all of that stuff, to really throwing yourself into an industry who is all about money. And not to throw shade on the industry because it's not always about that. It really is like money is just that underlying thing that really drives the entire industry. So it's hard not to escape that. But that was the gist of my senior capstone was what is a Hawaiian woman look like? What is a Hawaiian woman in the modern world? And actually, Heather Junie, shout out to Heather. She was my capstone advisor, and took me on. She took me. I feel like she also kind of just didn't know what to do with me, so she just lined up a whole bunch of internships for me. I interned. I did a literally a day with a bunch of different people, Hawaiian people in the industry in multiple facets, and it was really cool. Like I went to Kamehameha Schools, the media teacher there. I worked with her. I interned with Adrian Kamali'i, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. I might have gotten that wrong. But Adrian, who's like a PR, he's a PR person. He represents Oprah Winfrey when she's in town. He represents a bunch of different types of businesses and all that. So I got to, yes, I'm getting there, Charlotte. Paula Akana, I got to go and shadow Paula Akana for the day, while she was at KITV, and she was actually so much fun to interview. But at all of these internships, uh, I sat down with them for about 30 minutes and just did an interview with them, recorded them on my phone, and did a little podcast and edited it all together and threw it on onto a website. But it was basically insight into how who these people are and how they carry themselves as Hawaiians in this industry, and basically like if that's what they envision for themselves. So it was really cool. Um, yeah, yeah, it was really awesome. It was a great thing, and I think I'm pretty sure I gave Charlotte all the gray hair she currently has because of that capsule.
I mean, what a great topic. I remember listening to those podcasts that you created, especially with the one with Adrian, because he did live in New York at the time, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah, he go back and
Yeah.
forth.
So I do remember that. And I mean, what a great topic to cover. It's definitely layered, and addresses so many things that I think, people talk about as far as when they're thinking about their own careers and their professional development,
Hmm.
and how, everyone knows it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
Professional and personal. And sometimes it's a lot of imbalance. But I'm wondering for you, any advice for our students who are tackling their senior capstone, and maybe any advice for them who, have these big ideas, really want to do something meaningful and maybe, are getting stuck in the weeds of having to do so much. Maybe any advice for them?
Um, listen to Charla.
This is the advice everybody gives. Are
It's
they
great.
listening to us, Charlotte? No, I'm
Charla knows everything. She will get you through it.
kidding.
No. I think on the real, like for senior capstone specific, get down to the nitty gritty. Get down to the point of what you're trying to convey. What message are you trying to convey in your senior capstone? Your senior capstone is supposed to encapsulate everything that you've learned through your college journey, and that may sound very intimidating and very big, and but really just get down to the nitty gritty and get down to like the point of the message. And I think after, like with my senior capstone, the point that I got to for myself was a Hawaiian woman looks like whatever Hawaiian woman looks like, and they can be in public relations, they can be an anchor woman on KITV, they can be as the vice president of not Olelo but the other one. What is PBS? I day turned with him too. But like you literally can be anything you want it to be, and you being a Hawaiian woman, you are the representation. So whatever it is that you are, that's who you're going to be. So it's like that was the nitty gritty that I got down to it for myself. I obviously answered that question through my through the summer before my last semester, and once I got down to that answer, it kind of outlined everything else. It outlined whatever I was like, it pulled the entire project together. And when you have like 15 different people that you're working with and trying to pull that story together, that's hard. It's hard to gather what you're trying to say. So whatever your senior capstone is, whatever you're doing, just bring it down to the basics. Bring it down to that one punch line that you just want to leave your audience with. Leave whoever's watching, whoever's listening, whoever you're presenting to. What is the message that you're trying to convey, and that's going to really help you get through it. Thanks. Thank
Well, I mean, I just want to loop back what you were saying, to our students is really pick something that's meaningful to you and don't be
you.
afraid to embrace the work. Make time to embrace that work and
Yeah.
really get into it because you're right. It's supposed to be an encapsulation of what you've learned,
Yeah.
throughout college and just showing those skills, but also it helps to be passionate about the project that you're doing also. And I love that we really have come full circle in that you wanted to be a director, now you want to be a producer, you work in production now, and you're a Hawaiian woman in production, in
Yeah.
film. So we'll get to that. I think everybody wants to talk about the ACM trailer. So why don't you tell us maybe, and I know you worked with a team of students to
Yeah.
put that out, but maybe tell us about that experience and maybe any advice working with a team under deadline. What can you share about that experience?
Oh, that experience.
Oh, that was a sigh.
After I've been in the industry now for 6 years, 6 or 7 years, and looking back at that project, I realized we had no idea what we were doing. No idea. And like now with the knowledge that I have now, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of things that I really could have done better. And like I didn't, okay, so this is showing my how much I didn't know when it comes to film, but none of us knew like our roles. I was in front of the camera. I was directing the camera. Gus was directing me, directing the camera. Like we were all working together in a very chaotic fashion. But I think the best advice with working in a team is trust your team.
Mm.
Trust your team. Trust that they will do what they're like do their skill set. And like Gus is amazing behind the camera and directing in that aspect. And I'm pretty sure he does that now. I haven't talked to that guy in a long time, but like Gus, it was trusting that Gus knew what to pull out of me, because yes, I was in front of the camera a lot. Um, and then Kevin trusting his editing skills. My God, that trailer would not be anything if it wasn't for Kevin, because he had to pull something out of everything that we shot. And it was just, yeah, it was really just when you have to work in a team, you have to trust your team. You can't do it all yourself. As much as you may want to, because I'm the type that you know what, let me just take it. I'll do it. I'll do it all myself. Don't worry about it. Show up to the day. We're good. Um, but that's not how you can't operate like that. And you have to trust that your teammates will carry their weight, and they want just as badly as you do a good product. And I think it worked out really well. The trailer is great. To this day, I still get recognized by people, and I'm like, that trailer hasn't been playing for
I know.
I don't know, over 5 years already. But it's always fun, and it reminds me of just like that, just what a crazy time it was when we were doing that first trailer. It really was a crazy time, and dealing with Chris and Heather, that was amazing. That was hilarious. Chris just wanted the best for us, and he and I got into it several times because I'm such a strong-headed person, and so is he, and he runs the program, and I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing it like that. We're gonna do it this way. So it was a lot of those types of things, but I never backed down, and I think that I think that kind of gave me some, you know, just some confidence in myself to be able to do something as big as that. So yeah.
I don't know if you can see, but you're getting so many shout outs in the comments. People are one hundo, hearts, claps. I think, you're definitely sharing an experience that, you guys this was the first time, and what
Yeah.
a great opportunity for our students, shout out to the program for having it, but also like, they really just threw you guys in there and you guys pulled it off because of your
Yep.
great advice to trust your team. And I mean, I think you guys were so lucky to have so many talented people. And what's
Yes.
the
You know what? I have to shout out Julian. I just saw that
right?
he's on here. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
Julian, it was that long ago.
I know it doesn't feel that long ago, but it really
No, it doesn't.
was. Shoot. Was that the same team that you guys had working on the commercial? Because I know someone
Yeah.
mentioned that up at the top.
Yeah. Yes. That was
Just putting out bangers.
it
No
was
kidding.
it was always me, Ulu, and Kevin, because we
Mm-hmm.
we work as creative media lab assistants. So whatever project got thrown at Charla threw it at us. So that's
Truly.
that's basically how we ended up doing the commercial that aired on national television. That was also pretty cool. And that's the commercial you got roped into.
I forgot, honestly.
You don't remember going into the lab and like pouring some liquid nitrogen into some stuff and making smoke?
I do, but I was like, how did they get me to do that? What did I do?
I I don't know how we got you to do it, but we did. You were my co-star in that one.
Right. I know. We were sciencing it up.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
really
the
bad at science.
library. So am I.
Oh,
But
we
hey,
were in the
no,
library. You're
yeah.
right. Oh man, this really is a walk down memory lane. I mean, you're just sharing such great experiences. I mean, I think this is so valuable for any of our students who are watching. And I'm just going to plug, if anyone has questions that you want to ask Mahea, we're all about, halfway through. So if you want to drop them, let us know because we want to get to them for sure.
Ask
I
away.
Yes, please. I have a couple more, but I would love if people chimed in because obviously we just love hearing about your experience. This is a firsthand account from one of our most successful students, honestly,
I wouldn't.
really being the guinea pig. Why not? Why wouldn't you say that? We
There's so
only
many
ask the most
successful.
successful here. No kidding. But I mean, everyone has their own path, and I think that getting to hear from you personally, like behind the scenes of everything that happened throughout your, college experiences and these opportunities, I think is really enlightening. Not just for me, because we get to relive them together, kind of, sort of, but but for people who are watching who are like, man, what has this program gone through, and
Yeah.
how has it evolved? It's really your experience and what you're sharing is a real testament to how much it's grown,
Yeah.
for the betterment of the students. So, I mean, shout out to us for being the guinea pigs, honestly.
Really. Shout out to us.
Truly.
Charlotte, where would you be without us?
I'm kidding. She's going to think it's shade again. No, but it's true. I mean, I want to pivot a bit because I
Yeah.
really want to get into what you're doing now and kind of how you got started, grassroots. Yeah, you could say that also. Oh, Charlotte, I know. Yeah. Um, I do want to pivot because I want to understand what you're doing now, and how you got there. Can you tell us a little bit about your start in film production?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I say to anyone is it's all about who you know. And it was because of someone I know that we know, Miss Ashley Guzman, who got me into the industry. I think she had hit us both up and was like, "Hey, if you want a PA, we're looking for PAs." And at the time, I was working at the state capitol. I will not talk about that.
We
So
just hop,
dark
skipped,
time
and
in my
jumped
life.
over it. Yeah.
Uh, no, I learned a lot there, but very happy to have moved on. I interviewed with the production office of Hawaii Five O at the time, and the that person who interviewed me, the production coordinator, Sonoy Damon, who's now at the Hawaii Film Office, she's like, you know what? I don't want to set you up for failure. You're traveling from Waianae. We're all the way in Diamond Head. Magnum PI is coming in, and their studio is going to be out in Kapolei. I'm going to send your name and your resume over to them, and I want you to interview with them because that's just going to be so much easier for you. And I interviewed with them the week after, got the job, and the production supervisor on Magnum PI, she's like, why? Literally, this is how she entered our interview. I had an interview at Starbucks. I'm sitting down. She walks up behind me and she goes, "So, you work for the government?" I'm like, "Yeah." "And you want to leave?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Why?" "Because I feel like I'm going to turn 60. I was 22 at the time. And she was like, "I feel like I'm going to turn 60. And she's like, "Hey, you know what? It's gonna be a party at 60 nonetheless. So let me know about yourself." And after that, it was a fun interview. And she's like, "I'm gonna give you the job. Do you want the job?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want the job." She's like, "Can we have you start on Monday?" It was Friday, and I was like, I need to give my current job a 2 week notice. And she's like, 2 weeks is too long. How's about 1 week? Like, done, done. Wrote my letter of resignation, said goodbye to the state capitol, and started on July 2nd in 2018, I believe. I think it was 2018. And I have not looked back since. So I started at Magnum PI season one, the reboot, obviously. Worked my way up in season two as a production secretary. Um, and then I did a little quick pivot within the show, and I jumped into locations. And I ran with locations for a while as an assistant location manager. Just for everyone's reference, an assistant location manager is basically a PA, but it is a union position. So I was getting medical. Something important that you
Yes.
college students should think about.
Note for note. Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to locations, and then after Magnum, um, literally I finished the job in February, and COVID shut down Hawaii. And so thankfully I was already on unemployment. But that hit to the industry, and during the time of COVID, I think our industry was down for about 5 months. And that's what we call a very dry season for our industry. I mean, it was dry for everyone at the time. Um, but we were also one of the very first industries back into play. And I mentioned how money is a driving force. It was because of money that we were able to implement a lot of the rules and to abide by CDC in order to get our industry back up and running. And I was a part of the first show that was back in Hawaii. It's a Netflix movie called Kate. They did a quick little 2 week shoot in Hawaii, and then right after that, I flew to Maui and worked on season 1 of The White Lotus, and that
Which you're
was hell.
in. You make a cameo. Let's just all
I
say
do,
it.
I do. I do make a little cameo at the very, very end, literally the second to the last scene of the entire season.
Still worth
But
noting.
yeah, yeah. But it was on that show that I became an assistant production coordinator, and that's the current position that I'm at. And I've done a bunch of things here and there. I've done Murder Mystery 2, Sonic 2. What else have I worked on? Aquaman 2. A lot of sequels, I guess. That's what it's sounding like. Um, and my current show that I am working on right now is called Rescue High Surf. And I need to plug them because it's been a long time since I've been a part of a show that I'm actually like super proud of. It's your corny network television show, but a lot of it just shows the realness of Hawaii, and it follows the stories of these lifeguards on the North Shore, which is one of the deadliest shores in Hawaii, in
The
if not
world?
the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think something like that. Um, but yeah, so I'm an assistant production coordinator, and we are currently on hiatus and waiting to find out if we get a season 2. So it airs Mondays,
Plug
Mondays at
it.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
On Fox. Next day on Hulu. Please watch
Watch it.
it.
I mean, I thank you for giving us like a quick run through of your credits. I think again, we're so lucky to have you on so that you can share these kinds of things that are in the futures of our students if they want it to be,
Yeah.
if this is the path they choose. And I know that this is a real layer. There's a lot of layers, right? Like
Yeah.
working in film, specifically in Hawaii, it has, some of its drawbacks,
Yeah.
and I feel like
Big
a
time.
lot of our students, right, feel like they have to go away, to be able to work in film and actually like do the things that they want to do. I will circle back to something that you said. Ashley did ask me to work with them. I think we did an interview at the same time. And then I was put on Hawaii 5 I didn't last a day. Okay. Because I was in
Oh,
it for
that's
one,
right.
I,
I
I'm,
forgot about
I'm,
that.
I'm okay to admit that, because
Yeah.
you really have to be, I don't think, and maybe this will be helpful. This leads to my next question. You really got to be built different to work in production. And
Yes.
I know that there's a lot of glitz and a lot of glamour with working in the film industry, Hollywood, right? But I mean, for me personally, I just knew I didn't have like the stamina. I was so used to working like at a cushy 9 to 5 job. I was like, yeah, I want that. I want that. So why don't you just share some things that maybe our students don't know about what it's like to work in production, and maybe some helpful tips into, not, I know that you gave that, tip that it really is who you know, but maybe like once they get in, what are some things that they should prepare for, or
Yeah.
some things that they might not know that you can give us a little bit of insight into?
Yeah. Um, the biggest thing that I can actually give as advice for the industry specifically is be willing to do whatever.
Hmm.
Like, be willing to do the job. I mean, and not whatever, but like whatever pertaining to the job. Because as a PA, I was doing everything from like these big time paperwork things called production reports to doing coffee runs for the producers to cleaning the bathroom. Like you just have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And it is you work 12-hour minimums. There's like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's 12-hour minimums. And just don't have the attitude of, oh, I know this, and this, and this. Because once you get into the industry, you realize you really don't know a lot. You don't know a lot. And if you come in with an attitude of, I know everything, you're not going to last long. You really won't. And that's just me being honest and open about it, because if I walked into that office of saying, I know what I'm doing. I worked at the state capitol. I have a little meat on me, like, no, I would not have lasted on that show whatsoever. And I wouldn't be where I am today. And honestly, for me to have climbed from PA to assistant production coordinator in less than 3 years, that's a big deal. Because not a lot of people do that. And I was provided with opportunities that I said yes to. That's the other thing, is when you're in the industry and you want to do the work and you have the oomph to do it, you say yes. Say yes. Every opportunity given to you, if it works within your schedule, say yes. Just do it. And you meet so many people in this industry that will take you to different heights and different levels. And yes, exactly what Joe is saying here. Stay teachable, stay humble, and just enjoy the ride. Like, it's all a ride, and it's all fun and games, but just be willing to do the work.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying so many things. It's the commitment to the work. Say yes. That was giving a little Shonda Rhimes. You're a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, grit, being open to opportunities, being humble, because all of it is a learning opportunity for you to grow. And like you did, climb the ranks. We have a couple of questions that came in from people, so I'm going to throw it back to what they shared. Someone asked, how has the UH West Oahu ACM prepared you for the real world?
It's kind of funny because in the job that I'm doing, um, to be completely honest, it really was just Charla. It, and I only say that because when I entered ACM, we only had like design classes and whatnot. I don't really use that in my line of work, but I do use it uh, on like side projects. My nephew graduated high school. I had to make his banner, his invitation, and all those things. And to this day, I'm still sending Charla edits. I'm like, Charla, what do I need to do to improve this? Because something's missing. And so it's like that aspect I use on, like, just for fun things. But Charlotte's type of organization and how she kept me in line and focused on my work. It was how she kind of treated me as a student and mentored me as a student that really drilled into me and helped me be a productive human, a productive person in the industry, and to be good at my job. And Charlotte also is so attentive to details. I don't know if you guys have that experience with her, but she is extremely attentive to detail. And that was also instilled in me. And from like a design aspect, you have to be very attentive to detail, because just a slight, just the littlest thing can change the entire look of something. And that type of attention to detail is very important in what I do. So hopefully that, answers answers that question.
Right. All of the things, all of the skills. We got a lot of fire and 100 emojis going on. Yeah. I'm going to go to Eric's question. You've had a good mix of roles so far. Is there one that stands out as the most rewarding?
The most rewarding. You know what? Being a production assistant being a PA, an office PA, was the most rewarding for me, because it was the foundation of who I am. And it's like, you can ask people who I work with these days, my PAs that usually work with me. Um, I'm an APOC who rarely just stays behind my desk. I if I'm telling someone to do something that they've never done before, I will go with them, walk them through it, do it first, and show them, okay, this is how you do it for the next time. And I'm very hands-on in that aspect. And it's because being a production assistant, I was thrown into the fire. I didn't know nothing. The most I knew was what Ashley told me, and she's like, make sure that you sleep good the night before, carry a notebook with you because you need to write everything down, and wear good, comfortable shoes because you're going to be walking around a lot. And if you can't eat, try to eat because you never have time to eat. And that's all I walked into this industry with. And just being willing to learn in that role taught me everything I need to know now. And you know what, I'm still learning. And I love it. I love the fact that no matter how long I can do this job, I'm still learning stuff. I'm learning how to be better. So I feel like the most rewarding role that I've ever had was a production assistant. And we have a slogan amongst me and my close friends within the industry is once a PA, always a PA. No matter what position you do, where you go in life, you'll always be a PA. And if you carry that type of mindset, that team mentality that you'll help with whoever, whatever, it just makes the production go so much smoother.
Man, I love that we're kind of getting insight not just to you as a, former former PA, but also as you as a boss. Like, how fun to have, like, hear these tips from you specifically, especially for anybody who's really thinking about this as their career, seeing it from both sides. I mean, you're offering such great perspective on both. I kind of wanted to go down. Let me check some of these other questions. Julian asked, how about relationships with people? I mean, it is the film industry. You're working with a lot of people. Any clashes or mentors?
I clash with a lot of people, and forgive me for saying this, Charlotte, but if you prove to be stupid, I will treat you as such. Those are the people that drive me nuts and when I say stupid, I'm talking about the most common sense things. Like, don't send an email where your entire body of your message is in your subject line. Don't do that.
Oh no.
That's the kind of things that I have to deal with.
Shoot.
That's a lot of where the clashing, I guess, comes from. Mentors. I have gained a few mentors, and I am so grateful for them. One is Joan Cunningham. I met her on Magnum season 1. She was the unit production manager for Magnum season 1, a portion of it, and I got to know her really well. And actually, during Magnum season 2, she called me and asked me if I wanted to move to LA because she was line producing Lucifer, season 5 of Lucifer, and which I love the show. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a great show. But she asked me, she was a line producer on it. She asked me if I wanted to do it. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm already committed. But during the Thanksgiving break, I told her I was coming to LA just to visit and I wanted to say hi. She pulled me on Monday through Wednesday and paid me to hang out with her. So Joan Cunningham, she taught me a lot of the things that I know regarding paperwork stuff. There's a lot of paperwork that I have to do, and she was the foundation of teaching me that. That's one of the biggest mentors that stands out to me. Oh, actually, one of my best friends, Justine Post, who's a production coordinator. It's always hilarious being best friends with your boss, but it happens, and she is. But she was me for a long time, and when I met her, I was a production secretary, and she was an APOC, and she taught me a lot of, like, the role that I play as an APOC. So I learned a lot from her, and even to this day, we bounce things back and forth with each other, and it's like we help each other through the show. I call myself her right hand, because as an assistant production coordinator, that's what you are. You hold up the industry. You hold up the production while your boss is trying to make stuff happen. Like you're the She's the one saying, okay, we got to do these things, and I'm the one who's like, all right, let's do these things.
Let's make it true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're a good team.
I mean, I love that we could shout out your mentors, you know, because I think that's another key part of just being a professional, right? It's not just about doing your job, but it's about building those connections, not just, you know, networking, but really building those connections to see where your career can go. And I feel like you gave us, you know, two great pillars of what can, or, you know, two great examples of what can happen when you build those great connections with people.
Yeah.
I love that. Someone asked, what narrative movie would you create? Your sniper consulted theater trailer. I don't know what that last part means.
What?
I know. What narrative movie would you create? Maybe that's the question. If you could make a movie, what movie do you want to make?
Um, let's make it fun and make. I would tell the story of me in college. I would tell the story of me in college and all of people that I met there because, like, actually, Joe, who's on here,
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you guys all know him, the students know him. Joe was my first boss ever. He was my first boss ever, and I worked with him when I first got to UH West Oahu. I was a high school outreach assistant at Waianae High School, and I reported directly to him. He advised me on what I was supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. So I would tell that story, the story of being in college, because and you know what? I do it from a perspective of like me present day or me like much older and kind of like reliving those days. And yeah, that's the story I would tell because it's just the college experience was so valuable to me. And it really set me up for um, with the skills and the skills that I use today. So yeah, make use of your college experience, guys. Make use of it. Learn from the people who are there because God, I wish I could go back. It seems hard now. It's not, I promise. It gets
Mm.
worse, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean, I love that you said that, and that's something that I share often as well, is that like I really did not find myself or know who I was or what I wanted to do until I went to college because it was just so eye-opening for me to be able to go to these classes and meet all these kinds of people like you and all of our classmates that are tuned in right now to really see like the kinds of things that I could do like with my life, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of had this question popped into my head as you were sharing, and you don't have to answer this. Just off the top of your head, who would you cast as Charlotte? I want to know.
Uh, Charla herself. It has to be Charla.
Oh,
It can't be anyone else. No one's gonna be able to encompass the Charla of Charla.
that
So it has to be Charla.
that's good. That's like a Stan Lee moment.
Yeah.
Charlotte's gonna make a cameo as herself in
Yep.
your
Yep.
the movie of your life. I
She does
love
not like
that.
that
I
idea.
know she's like, please, dear God. Oh, I'm so
Actually,
glad.
just
Go
real
ahead.
quick, just because I see Landon on here, and I wanna answer his question because it kind of pertains to everything that we talked about. But working in the film industry, where your beliefs, culture beliefs, ever challenge, and how do you work through it or around it? That is an excellent question. I am constantly battling with contention when I'm dealing with producers and directors who are not from the islands. A lot of times, people come in with a mentality of, oh, this is just, Hollywood on an island. And me being a Hawaiian presence, I do take it seriously. And a lot of times I am sharing how to properly pronounce Hawaiian words, how to, just something as simple as that. Um, but I am constantly faced with contention within the industry, and it's really hard to get through it. But the other Hawaiians that within the industry, I have good friends in the industry who are Hawaiian, and we just vent. We vent to each other, and we talk about how we can address address, whatever is happening. And if I know the person well enough, I will speak directly to them and just give them, hey, coming from a Hawaiian woman, coming from just with love in my heart, I just wanted to share with you what is, what's been bothering me, or what you're doing that may not be considered pono. And yeah, it's just like being brave enough to have those conversations, because I don't know a lot of Hawaiian. I don't, and I sometimes don't feel that I am qualified enough to make those types of corrections. But if I don't, who will? And that's the mentality that I have when it comes to representing my culture, representing who I am. So yeah, thank you for asking that, Len, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm glad that he brought that up because that directly ties into your senior capstone, and like Hawaiians in media and those kinds of challenges of not only understanding the professional challenges of getting into the industry and, preparing yourself for that, but also just what happens when you're working in that kind of industry where
Yeah,
there's a lot of visitors and guests who are just here to do their job,
yeah,
and might not know those kinds of things and of course we want those kinds of opportunities, right, to come here,
yeah,
but really approaching it, as you mentioned, with aloha, in a really pono way to make sure that it's aligned with, and the production is pono, like
yeah,
overall.
yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to I want to get to Julian's question too, but I think I might save that to for the end. And we are coming up to an hour, so if anyone has any other questions, please drop them. I wanted to share. I don't know if you see, but Mari wrote something really nice. As we have focused on ACM's tenure, working as a student assistant, I see you all over the program's history. You have already inspired me and are a role model in the ACM
That's
program. That's so
so sweet. That's
nice.
sweet. Thank you so much.
And then Landon, he said, awesome to hear that. Always wishing our ACM fam nothing but the best. Truly, truly,
Yes.
honestly. And I think, shout out to everybody who's asking questions because you guys have great ones. I will circle to Julian's now. Was there a moment or accomplishment that made it very clear that you made it?
I wouldn't say that I've made it. Wouldn't say that I've made it, only because I know that I have so much further to go. I do want to be a line producer. I want to be a producer in Hawaii. There, shout out to Angela Pratt. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's an Asian woman, who has been in the industry for years, and she's running with the biggest productions right now as a producer. In fact, Angie, I worked with Angie. I forgot to mention the show. It was called Chief of War with Jason Momoa. That is supposed to air sometime next year, but that is done in 90% Olelo Hawaii, and that was an incredible, incredible project to work on. It tested me to the biggest, like it tested me in no other in every capacity, in a lot of ways, because we were so understaffed. This goes back to Julian's question, but we were so understaffed for how big the production was. One of my biggest responsibilities as an assistant production coordinator are contracts. I have to deal with a lot of the SAG contracts for actors and stunt players. And just to give you a gist of it, at one point we were running with 100 individual people, stunt people, per day. And that's a
Wow.
lot. That's a lot of people, a lot of contracts to keep track of. And it was just a really massive show. But because our office specifically was super understaffed, my production coordinator was very focused on different aspects, and everything else, because of the type of person I am, was falling onto me. So I was catching a lot of things. So it really tested me. And the moment I wrapped that show, if I ever had I felt like a come to Jesus moment, that was it. That was it. I felt the weight of the world fall off my shoulders, and yeah, that was the moment that I realized that I could be a production coordinator if I wanted to. I don't want to. I'd like to skip that entirely, because production coordinators are amazing human beings who do not get treated as such, and they're just underappreciated, and I'd like to skip it entirely. But I feel like the day that I the day I come back to UH West Oahu and become a teacher, Charlotte, after I retire from the industry, that's when I feel like I've made
Plug it. Yeah. Manifesting it for you.
it.
I mean, I love, I mean, obviously so humble, right? And just like sharing all of these great experiences that we are all learning so much from, you know, really opening our eyes. But I mean, also knowing that you have aspirations and things that you want to do next. That goes
Yeah.
into my next question. I mean, where is Mahea going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? What is she going to be doing?
You know,
Visualize it for us.
hopefully by the end of 10 years, I am at least a production supervisor. I'd love to at least be in that role, because as a production supervisor, I'd be learning so much more as to what a line producer does. The avenue as to how to get there, it's very convoluted, very complicated, and at the same time it kind of isn't. One of the avenues is to just transition into being a line producer assistant, which I am interested in. That's a sacrifice for me if I were to take a line producer assistant job, but I'm in it to learn. And as a line producer assistant, you are exposed to so much more and you learn so much more. So I'm hoping that within the next couple of years at least, I'm making that transition. And as a line producer's assistant, after you get to a certain, level and working with a certain producer for X amount of time, they can actually pull you up and promote you to a production supervisor role. So that's like that. One of my good friends who is a current production supervisor, that's one of the avenues that she had taken. So it's definitely possible, and I'm willing to kind of ride that out and see how that goes. But hopefully by the end of 10 years, I'm at least a production supervisor, been doing it for a couple of years and on my way to producing. That would be the ultimate goal.
It's happening. It's happening. We're getting tons of reactions. I'm so glad that everything that you're sharing is really resonating. And I mean, like I said, we really appreciate you having you on and sharing all of these things that we didn't know, you know? Um, let's
My
see.
pleasure.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, Mari did ask about senior capstones.
Mm.
We kind of got to that at the front of this, but any other advice you want to give to our seniors who might be graduating? We graduated fall
Yeah,
2016. So
yeah, we did.
any advice for fall 2024?
Um, I don't know.
Good luck. No, okay.
Realistically, yeah, good luck.
It's October.
Right. We're almost there. Don't
I
give
know.
up.
Really, it's really almost there.
Actually, you know what? I do have one thing. Just take a moment and breathe. Take a
Mm,
moment and breathe. Embrace the moment that you're in, because you'll never be in this position again. If you are a senior graduating in December, you truly, like, I wish I took more time to just embrace that last semester, because it might be hell and it might be just go go go, but when you are done with it, you're gonna look back at it and you're just gonna be like, I wish I embraced it a little bit more. So just take a moment, breathe, embrace where you are, and just relish in it for a second, and then get back to it. Get to the grind and keep going.
yeah.
And
Landon
finish.
said facts. Yeah.
Yep, stop giving Shara.
No, that's such great advice. I feel like really being in the present, you might be really swamped right now, but enjoy it because after this, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But maybe that's why we're talking because we're all just reminiscing about what it was
We
like to be in
really
college. And we wish we enjoyed it a little bit more, you know? So many hearts, I'm so glad so many people left some nice stuff over here for you. So I hope you read it afterwards. But
Oh, thank you.
um, any last questions from anyone? This is your last chance. I'm going to drop mine, and then if you have any, we'll get to it after. I always like to ask because I like to know what people are into or what's inspiring them right now. But what's inspiring you right now? Maybe your creative juices, maybe something that you've seen, something you're watching, anything you want to share?
Um, something, a source of inspiration for me. Um, you know what? There's no like true inspiration behind this right now, but I've actually gotten into painting.
Ooh,
I've been painting a lot, and it that's been kind of fun.
Good.
It's not something that I do. I'm not like I am terrible with, like actually using my hands to create things, but I've been painting a lot. If I turned the camera around, you'd actually see all of my paintings that I've done. But we will not do that. Um,
Why not? No kidding.
well, I can send you pictures later.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like just putting myself in a creative space, like, and allowing creative juices to flow, and just kind of getting in touch with the creative side of me. I'm not, as I said, as creative as I'd like to be, but just allowing that side of me to kind of like, to just dive into that
Breathe.
side of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I'm working, I'm all logistics. I'm all right. What is it? Right brain? Right brain is all the
I think.
analytical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Seems right.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of where I am when it comes to work. So I'm like stressing that side of me out. So now that I'm, on hiatus, happily unemployed, enjoying my time off, I'm just trying to get into more creative things. I dabble in poetry. You know that about me. So I'm just kind of just embracing that. I've been reading a lot too,
Ooh.
so that's fun.
Ooh, nice. I mean, so many things to really keep that, keep cultivating that creativity. As you mentioned, I figured that a lot of your job would be managing contracts,
Yeah.
logistics, working with people in that way. So I'm really glad that you're nurturing that side of you as well. And hopefully, as you continue to climb up, we'll get that movie about you.
Maybe. We'll
We'll
see.
see. Thank you
Uh,
so much. Oh, go
Actually,
ahead,
one more last plug. How
please.
to Die Alone on Hulu. Written by, created by, starring Natasha Rothwell. Amazing show, funny, and it's super relatable in, just being where we're at in life. It's just super relatable and really good show. And it'll make you laugh. If you want to say that is inspiring to me, that we can say that, because How to Die Alone is excellent. It's 8 episodes, super short. Watch it, enjoy it. I promise you won't regret watching it. It's really good.
I'm glad because I needed a new show to watch.
Oh,
Of
girl,
course,
watch
after Rescue High Surf. Yeah.
it.
Write it down. Rescue High Surf. How
Yes,
to Die
Rescue High
Alone.
Surf, How to Die Alone. Chief
We
of
have,
War next year.
yeah. Oh, Charla. Wait, maybe we should put that little theater to use. I don't know. I'm planting this
Oh,
idea now.
maybe premiere
Charla,
something.
let us know. Let
Let's
us
do
know. We can do an
a
alumni movie night or
yeah,
something and film some of
alumni slash
these.
seniors.
Yeah,
Maybe we can include the
yeah,
seniors.
yeah. That's
Do
fine.
a little networking for the kids.
Ooh, Charla, write this
Charlotte, I
down.
just sold I just sold the
She said, "Well, that's an alumni thing." Okay, Charla. Yeah.
idea. So she's saying that means we can use the theater because it's an
Yeah.
alumni thing.
Oh, there you go. Make use of your logistics skills. Wow.
Oh,
She's already on it. She's already planning it for us. Okay. I'm so glad that we got to talk today, Mahea, and
me
catch up and
too.
hear from you and all of your mana'o. I mean, I know everyone here is like, as a student assistant, noted. Yes, you plan it and make it. Yeah, okay. I mean, just a shout out to you and everything that you've shared because it's been so valuable. And I know that all of our students and even us alumni graduates, are still taking so much away from this experience. So I'm glad that you shared. I just want to plug some things that are coming up. We will have
Do it.
another talking story with alumni. Stay tuned as to who and when that'll be.
Ulu.
Make sure. Yeah, who we don't
Ulu.
who.
No, Ulu.
Oh,
Ulu Hikato.
I haven't. I don't think I have had.
I know you haven't. And
Oh
she's
my.
gonna text me later saying,
Oh,
why? Why'd you
oh,
do that?
oh no, that'll be so nice to catch up with Ulu,
Yeah,
actually. That's a good one. I haven't had her on. Yeah. Convince her. Yeah, okay,
I
Mahea,
got
that's
you.
your
No
assignment.
worries.
Yeah,
I just
that's
I just
yours.
hung out with her the other day. I got you.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. But anyway, stay tuned. Subscribe to the newsletter, the ACM newsletter, or make sure that you're following this account,
Yep.
UHWO ACM, so that you can get all the updates. I know that they're going to do a little Halloween costume. contest. Yeah. So
Fun.
if you're a student, excited to see what you guys come up with. Other than that, thank you so much, Mahea. I'm so glad that we got to chat, and thank you for all that you shared. Don't forget to check the comments, and we tagged you in this, or we will be. So if anyone wants to follow you in your journey, they can do that there as well. But
Absolutely.
thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a good night, and thanks
Thank you.
again, Mahea.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
shout out to you, Cool. Shout out to you. Well
Oh,
done, and thank you so much for running with these talking stories with alumni. You are
oh,
doing a great job with all of this, so thank
oh,
you so much.
that's
And
so nice.
all you future graduates, make sure you keep in touch with Ku'u.
Oh, no, don't. No kidding. Keep in touch with you if you want a job, guys.
Yeah, that too. That too.
All right, everyone.
Love
Have a
you
good
guys.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.